Because, of course, not only do we have International Women's Day, we also have women and equality questions every month in the Chamber, which we don't have for men. So the opportunity for men to raise issues that are important to them is very limited. And just to give you a flavour, Mr Chairman, of the type of things that may come up and which will be part of International Men's Day, I'm not entirely sure why it's so humorous, but to discuss issues such as...
You have to excuse me for laughing, that the idea that men don't have the opportunity to ask questions in this place is a frankly laughable thing. As I say, as the only woman on this committee, it seems like every day to me is...
Well, I wasn't making, with respect, I wasn't making that point. I wasn't making the point that men don't have an opportunity to ask. I was about men's issues. There's a very big difference between men raising issues and the raising of men's issues.
But one could raise men's issues in any single one of the question sessions. So men's health, absolutely. So prostate cancer, that could be raised in men's questions, couldn't it?
Well, Mr Chairman, I very much look forward to these arguments being deployed when we come to consider a debate on International Women's Day, because exactly the same arguments could be raised for International Women's Day, that women's health issues, that equality issues could be raised in women and equality questions in other forms. So all I ask is for an equal crack of the whip, that if those issues can be raised without having a debate on International Men's Day, then obviously the same issues can apply for when it comes to International Women's Day. But those arguments have never won the day before this committee.
She was parading around saying, look, I think I get all these rape threats and therefore I want to control the internet. And she's an MP, so it's not like she's powerless, right? And I said, right, look, the point I was making is, regardless of what she says, she's going to do it anyway. So if she gets something that isn't a rape threat, they're just going to claim it is anyway, because that's the point. It's all an ideological mission, and I object to it.
Yeah.
He's the one who famously said, I'd take a bullet for Donald Trump. Well, now that he's looking at prison time, we'll see if he's willing to take a dick.
People think that prisoners deserve whatever they get.
Police report described him as 5'9" and 140 pounds. Or as his cellmate put it, just right.
Okay, I want to give my take on the whole Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, thing regarding his rape satire, as he put it. He described it as satire. This is producing a lot of talking points, and I've just been in a debate with a guy that I respect, that I agree with in a lot of areas, but we disagreed on this. There are certain things, in my view, that you just should see as not being an acceptable thing to satirize or joke about. Rape is one of them.
Duterte telling his supporters when he saw the woman's body raped and murdered in a 1989 Philippine prison riot, his initial reaction was, "She's so beautiful. I thought the mayor should have been first." And in another strange twist, Duterte's daughter revealed to reporters that she's a rape victim.
It was really a bad joke.
But she goes on to say she wasn't offended by her father's remarks and believes they won't affect his performance as president.
Ask a woman, you love your man, you love your family, you love your home, you love what you built. Yep. All right. You see Brad Pitt or Denzel Washington or whatever standing there, would you risk everything you built with your man just to sleep with him? And women, look, they go, nah, I wouldn't. And they'll pass the test. They be like, they look good, but I wouldn't. Ask guys the same thing, boom, love your woman, the kids, the house. Yeah. All right, you see that girl passed out behind the dumpster? That's like, guys, you meet your girl, she was a hoe. Like, had hoe, like, she big old booty and this and that. You gotta let her do that. Don't start trying to frump her up and get her fat and get her foul. Because that's why you like her. I don't want no woman that no other guy's trying to. I don't want a woman that I can send to the store at 2 in the morning. Because nobody's going to try to rape her. Like, I go.
Look, I'm not crazy. I just think you should consider, you know, terminating the pregnancy if it was rape or incest or with a redhead. Like the unforgivables, you know? Like, I used to sleep with Hispanic guys, but now I just prefer consensual. I don't know.
That was a great one. Yeah, I remember that very specifically. But what an ass she is to say that, because that means you won't laugh at a drunk driving joke, or you won't laugh at a pedophile joke,
right,
or you won't laugh at any type of domestic violence reference.
What is a rape joke? The thing is, again, stupid people treat jokes about bad things with the same fear and loathing as intelligent people treat the actual bad thing.
There's a very good chance that if Britain leaves the European Union with no deal, Spain will close the border, prevent goods and services from crossing. In that case, it is a UKIP party pledge that we shall invade Spain with the aid of Portugal, capture and burn down Madrid, and forcibly open the border. It is also UKIP party policy to restore the British Empire, because the British Empire did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong! We're calling this a Cromwellian approach to politics that's going to radically change the face of Britain, but for the better. Despite making up only 13% of Europe's population, the Spanish... What
are you going to say about Islam?
Everything I know about Islam I learned from Nigel Farage. It wasn't very complimentary. Just waiting for the denunciation by Jacob Rees-Mogg before I go to his constituency and start campaigning. You know, Jacob Rees-Mogg is actually speaking a lot of sense. After thinking about it, I've decided I'll follow his advice and convert to Islam. So I was looking into the Brexit Party, and it turns out that it's being run by a man called Idi Farage, and he's running it along the lines of one man, one vote, and he's the man. Interestingly, one of my opponents is actually going to be Anne Widdecombe, Britain's most famous incel. UKIP's first party policy is going to be the outlawing of incels. So Anne Widdecombe has a problem. I think it's really nice of Anne Widdecombe to come out of retirement and start running for the Brexit Party, a party she's not a member of and isn't even going to vote for. Stunning and brave. Since we're on the subject of stunning and brave, Claire Fox saying that it shouldn't be illegal to watch child porn. Ooh, lad! I disavow. It is UKIP party policy that until we leave the EU, we will blockade the Strait of Gibraltar. There are two types of people in this world, the English and the German. The First Minister of Gibraltar, Fabian Picardo, said that I was promoting criminal activity. Well, Fabian, I suggest that we have a duel to the death, pistols at dawn if you like, or swords if necessary. Choose your weapon. The great thing about running against People's Vote campaigners like Lord Adonis and Claire Moody is that if they happen to win the election, we can just have another vote about it. You've got no reason to complain. We're going to vote and vote until we get it right. This is what democracy looks like. The United Kingdom Independence Party is the only party that has a prescription list for people from racist parties. So it's with great pride that I can announce that people from the Labour Party can no longer join. There's been an awful lot of talk about whether I would or would not even rape Jess Phillips. I've been in a lot of trouble for my hardline stance of not even raping her. I suppose with enough pressure I might cave. But let's be honest, nobody's got that much beer.
And then of course, you've still got UKIP, which has now been taken over by Tommy Robinson and his bevy of shit-posting internet edgelords whose idea of political discourse is to joke about maybe raping their opponents. Classy. I've always been pretty level-headed about UKIP. Up to about a year ago, if you were thinking of voting UKIP, I fundamentally disagreed with your political position. Now, if you're still thinking of voting UKIP, I fundamentally think you're a cunt. There you go, I've said it. Finally. Finally. So thank you, Wank Lord of Aragon, or whatever you call yourself, for clearing that one up.
The dirty smear merchants are back at it again, this time with the most dishonest, disgusting lies against Sargon. Now, I had trouble finding this exact quote. I just couldn't find the exact words. And there's a reason for that. This quote that the Daily Mail printed doesn't exist. Yes, the Daily Mail is so dishonest, they printed a fake quote. Now you're asking, wait a minute, Sitch, how can you prove the quote is fake? Well, let me show you. You see, the good people at the UKIP Liberalist Research Team figured out the reason you can't find this quote is because it's actually 4 different quotes stitched together. Yes, the Daily Mail printed a Frankenstein-together amalgamation of out-of-context quotes to create one monstrous, fake, libelous, defamatory quote in order to attack Carl Benjamin.
So we're here with Carl Benjamin, UKIP candidate in the European elections coming up later this month. So Carl, what are your policies and what would you like to achieve for the South West if you're elected as an MEP?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's not a huge amount that MEPs can actually achieve full stop. They're the decision-making body for the Commission. So really anyone who gives you a big list of promises and, you know, potential achievements is kind of talking smoke. But I'm more interested in, honestly, the procedure of what's happening at the moment. I think that the media coverage of me has been a decisive kickback against the idea of people who are outside of Westminster politics from having a say in the political life of this country. And I think that the disgusting smears about me have been a part of that. Because, I mean, you know, it's like jokes and, you know, comedic stories I tell have been wildly blown out of proportion, and I think maliciously so, specifically because I'm not really one of their guys. I'm an independent guy who's joined UKIP because they're an independent party who want the independence of the UK, and the Westminster consensus is pretty much against that.
I'm not going to talk about the legality of them because they seem to be perfectly legal, and
yeah.
There's been all sorts of debate about that. But just on a moral level, a lot of people find them morally wrong. And why should people vote for you if you do things which they believe to be morally abhorrent?
Because this was a demonstration. This was a demonstration that the only way that the political establishment would accept principled opposition to what they were saying is if it was shoved in their faces. The only option I had was to violate their moral code. Like you say, it wasn't illegal, you know, and I made sure that it wasn't. But the point of the tweet, I mean, Jess Phillips already had me blocked, so she never saw the tweet anyway. She obviously doesn't follow any of my videos, so she's never seen any of this. So the people have been putting this in her face in the media, which is precisely what I aim to do. They're in fact, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something a second. It's not mine. But this was precisely what the purpose of the tweet was, because now I can sit here and tell you, well, I think that we do need a national debate on, for example, suicide. Why is it affecting men so disproportionately? Why is it young men who so disproportionately kill themselves? Jess Phillips went out of her way to block that debate, and so I'm sorry, if her offence is considered more important than mine, then it's surely just an example of her privilege as an MP.
Well, a lot of your defence of that tweet was that it was a statement of non-intent.
Sure.
But recently you put out a video saying, and whether it was a joke or not, that you...
No. There's no whether it was a joke or not. You're talking about a blooper reel of outtakes that were all jokes. Everything in it was a joke, and so taking a joke seriously is kind of farcical, is it not?
Well, I'm not necessarily taking it seriously, but could people who did take it seriously perceive that as a legitimate threat?
No, I think that's really ridiculous. I think the idea of taking any joke seriously is funny in and of itself. And the joke itself was actually about the media, because they're the ones who are blowing this tweet out of proportion and put it in people's faces. They're the ones who are doing so. I'm not the one putting this in Jess Phillips' face.
Okay.
So, I don't need permission to be here, do I? Excuse me. Excuse me. So now this is precisely the sort of thing that we have a problem with, is zealots who decide that it's okay to assault people for having a different political opinion.
Overly aggressive, jumping around like he was going to do something. The only person you pushed was a woman. No, you was, mate. We'll show you the footage later. So you come in very aggressively, you've got over. Tommy, go on.
That's what you get for being a fascist! Fuck off! You fucking Nazi prick!
Fucking hey! Yes! No, it wasn't me.
Jordan! Now, this is where it gets interesting. Burger King is the first company that I know of that promotes physical violence against people who disagree with them politically. Are you a left-winger? Do you want to buy some of our milkshakes so you could go ahead and attack people that are right-wingers? Well, we're just the store for you, is pretty much what they say. Here's their tweet. Burger King. Dear people of Scotland, we're selling milkshakes all weekend. Have fun.
Hi, my name is Aaron. This is my show Reeducation, and today we're going to switch gears a little bit. Today we're going to talk about something awesome, something amazing, something delicious. Of course, we're talking about frosty chocolate milkshakes. You know, those delicious drinks that you might have on a hot day that sometimes get all over your face or your entire body, depending on the circumstances. Now, I know I'm being a little bit cheeky, a little bit facetious. We're actually going to talk about dousing reactionaries, racists, bigots, homophobes, and probably the worst dregs of human society with a delicious drink. And how somehow that's violence. The idea that somehow pouring a delicious frosty beverage on someone's lapel could lead to a genocide is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And even conflating it to something like actual violence, like hitting someone, is again the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Throwing eggs and dumping milkshakes is childish at best, would ruin your clothes at worst, but is not necessarily violence. It's not something that can actually hurt you.
People would be like, oh, it's just a milkshake, grow a pair. No, that's assault. By law, I think there's like a specific definition. Like
Battery.
that would qualify as battery. And then if you create like a scratch or something like that, there may even be assault charges. Like that's actually
What if there's
physically
acid in
assaulting
it?
somebody. Yeah, you have no idea. If somebody's about to get thrown something, you have no idea what's in there. It could be a rock. It could be any kind of thing. Like,
I don't want anybody throwing stuff at leftists.
No,
I don't want anybody throwing it at Don't do
anyone.
it. Anytime you put someone in a situation where they even could fear for their life,
yes,
or they have to, you've now actually forfeited your right to live. Remember the knockout game?
Yeah.
I don't know who you are. I don't know that you're playing a knockout game. I don't know that you're going to slap me. All I know is you're trying to full wind me, or someone hold you at knife point. I can't know that you really just want my wallet. I have to assume that because thousands of people every year go all the way, I have to assume that you're willing to use a knife. I have to assume that you're okay with me smacking my head in the concrete. I have to assume that you're willing to put acid in the milkshake. Therefore, now it's not ideal, but if you do that and you put someone else in that scenario, you forfeit your right to live.
Yeah, sorry.
Them's the breaks. Now, of course, don't throw to people. Is that a call to violence? No, I'm saying don't let anyone violently assault you. That's a call to defense.
Also in the news, it was revealed that David Cameron has spent $8,000 on a hot tub. According to the hot tub maker's brochure, Cameron's luxury tub is great for parties. Unlike him, he's ruined his. Also, police are investigating whether UKIP Euro candidate Carl Benjamin might have committed a crime when he stated he might rape Labour MP Jess Phillips. I think it's shocking that politics has been reduced to such vile and abusive personal attacks, especially from a twat-faced, beardy, tiny-cocked tosser like him.
Say, Joe, we are absolutely united in feeling we are living through a terrible time from a parliamentary point of view.
Well, yes, I would say that, but I think that's because certain unpleasant characters are being thrown to the fore, and they're very, very easy to hate. And I'm kind of thinking, why bother with a milkshake when you could get some battery acid? That's just me, and it's all right. I'm not going to do it. It's purely a fantasy, but I think milkshakes are pathetic. I honestly do.
Why use acid, yeah? Obviously, like I said, that's my blade, innit? That's if I don't have my blade, then I have my bottle, and that's my acid. You know what I'm saying? So, I back it out. If I feel threatened, I'm gonna back it out and use it. You know what I'm saying? Don't think you're gonna come up on me for something try to act up on me and I'm gonna have my bottle with me and not use it. You dumb, like, you know what I'm saying? Gonna use my king, innit? Yeah. Use my acid for protection and that.
And do you care about the consequences?
I do care about the consequences, but why care about it if I know they won't catch me? So basically, no, I don't care.
Samir Hussein's mask protects sensitive new skin grafted from his leg and forehead. The lasting scars of a night out with a friend at the movies. They'd run afoul of two other guys looking for trouble. Verbal taunts turned vicious when Hussein was hit with acid.
You can feel your skin sort of caving in and sort of melting away. And my instant thought at that time was, why me? Because I didn't do anything wrong. So I burned my arm just all along here. So I shielded my face when the acid was thrown. My jacket was burnt. There was a hole in my jeans. My T-shirt was half gone as well. And I did get acid in my eye as well, in both of them.
That was 2 years ago.
Is it hurting your eyes?
In London, the acid attacks have only escalated.
Where has this happened, sir? Just there.
A scooter rampage last week. 2 attackers, 6 victims, 2 of them delivery couriers. The drive-by crime and rising threat is rattling Londoners, the government, and the guys who ride for a living, like Louise Juna.
Basically, everybody's scared now. Everybody's afraid to work, and it's in a couple of areas and zones because it's been a very dangerous zone to go.
His theory: young criminals can easily get corrosive products and conceal them.
The kids, they understood like, oh, we can do whatever in the city, and nothing's gonna happen to us.
Sulfuric acid is readily available, part of everyday products under your sink. Carrying a bottle of acid in Britain isn't illegal, not like a knife, and some people say it should be. But the problem is there are so many products with corrosive substances. Police chiefs say it would be near impossible to restrict all of them, everything from drain cleaners to antifreeze.
Recently, I got a text from a friend warning me to stay away from Mare Street in Hackney. Thieves on scooters were going around throwing acid into people's faces so they could make off with their bags and phones. It was the first time I'd ever heard of acid being used outside of an honor or revenge-based attack and as a weapon to commit petty theft. I almost didn't believe it. No one expects acid to be thrown on them on a night out.
Since 2010, there have been 1,800 reported acid attacks in the capital, with a steep 70% rise from 2015 to 2016. As the number of victims grows, data suggests Britain has the worst record in the developed world for assaults with household acids like bleach and drain cleaner.
My identity's changed because of what's happened. Because I am scarred for life, so I'm not the person I wanted to be.
So why has it become the go-to weapon for young criminals in the UK?
On a girl, they love their beauty, innit? Look at my face! Okay, if I can get it, then I'll use it.
Most people in the UK first heard about the rise in acid attacks because of the Mango incident. In this nightclub in Hackney, 20 people were sprayed with acid. The attack, which happened between 2 groups of men, allegedly over drugs, left 2 clubbers blind in one eye, 2 men with severe facial injuries, and people needing treatment for scarring. An incident involving such a large group of people is rare, but the Mango attack confirmed that the use of chemicals as a weapon is now horrifying.